So in the case of this villain, the eclipse effect is pretty straightforward. You see it cutting across his sun Uranus, the key one there being the sun, and because the sun rules the 12th house, where all those Leo planets are, and the moon comes from the 12th house at birth, therefore the eclipse is pointing strongly to the 12th house in its effects. And the 12th house in Rudy's chart is not really a charitable, much less a meditation house. It's a criminal house. So since he was recently raided, and then he saw his boss, his ex-boss, with a grand jury being convened to look into his affairs, more or less in concert with the eclipse, he's probably feeling pretty nervous. I'm not aware of any specific events that have happened during these last few days, but I would guarantee you that it was very uncomfortable for him because of the pointing to that 12th house. And we already know that he was raided recently. So you have to keep in mind that most of the time, whether it's stations, eclipses, etc., they tend to reflect the momentum of your life. You can get something very unusual happening here and there, but for the most part, whatever has been happening continues. And if the energy is in some kind of decline, then whenever you see these crests in the wave of cycles, as shown by stations, eclipses, and so on, they become very uncomfortable because the momentum you've set in motion is very negative. So, in summary, for Rudy, it's crystal clear in that the eclipse cuts right across the sun in Gemini, and on the other end is Sagittarius. In his chart, that's the 4th and 10th house, which of course involves his career, his reputation, and so on. And there might be something happening in his family that we don't know about, and that might be uncomfortable. But the bulk of it is, in the context of everything else happening in his life, you look into the 12th, the potential to be charged and get in a lot of trouble, and the fact that the sun rules that house, and that the moon is in Leo, and it's also in that house.